Hey Axters, welcome back. Today we are going to turn in what is pretty much a cave of a master closet. Really dark, and as you'll see if I bring you in a little bit further, there is one corner that is completely dark. Well, this is going to be the first step in really transforming this closet into something special. Today we are going to add some new lighting, and when my friends over at Cycevsun heard about this, they sent me over a set of these really nice flush mount LED lights. Now, these are the ones that with a flip of the switch, you can switch from your nice bright regular light to a mood lighting. And I'm going to show you how adding a simple smart switch and using your home smart device, you can turn these into something really nice and make it a whole lot more fun to have them around. So, what we're going to need to do this, obviously we're going to need our lights. If you aren't walking around with built-in eye protection, make sure you have your eye protection. Going to need a tape measure. You're going to need a 6-inch hole saw. If you don't have that, you can use a template, mark off, and just saw it out by hand. Just make sure anywhere you're sawing that you aren't going to be getting into any electric. We're going to need a stud finder so we can check where all of our studs are in the ceiling, so we can figure out what our best routing is for all of our electric. Marker so we can mark everything when we're finding our location. We're going to use some painter's tape to put it up first so we can measure things around, make sure we have it right where we want it, and not be putting marks all over our ceiling. Going to need a drill if you are doing the hole saw. If not, you don't need that. You're going to need a nice fresh utility knife. You're going to need a line tester to make sure your power is off. A wire puller is going to make your life a whole lot easier, but again, you do not need it. There are ways you can get around it just by fishing the wire through by hand. It just might take a little bit longer. In our case, we are eliminating the light fixture that's in here. We're going to keep that box in place as our junction to go to the other lights, so we need to put a faceplate on it afterwards to seal it all up. And then you're going to need some wiring. In this case, we're using 14.2. That is more than adequate for doing lighting. If you are going to be running anything heavier than some LED lighting, you're obviously going to need to move up to like a 12.2 or so on, all depending on what you're working with. If you are confused on that, that might be somewhere you need to do a little bit more research, but I'm going to show you the basics of how to wire up 14.2 into these fixtures. And then last, you're going to need some of these snap lock cable connectors. This is what your box is that comes with the light. And as you can see, there's little punch outs. You're going to punch that out, and then you're going to snap that cable connector in. So once you punch that out, this connector, there's different types. This is a snap in. You just push it in and it locks into place. There are other ones where when you push it in, there's a thread on the back and you got to thread it all in. And then to get into the box, you're in here. You got your 3 simple lines. You're going to have your hot, your neutral, and your ground. And all that's going to be coming through here. Your wire's going to come through this, crimp it down. That way it's all nice and secure and you're not worried about anything. All right, let's show you just how dark this room actually is. You can see that back corner gets really dark. It's not as bad on camera because the camera does want to actually give it a little bit of better lighting, but overall you can see really dark corners. Makes it really difficult to really, when you're in here, especially when all the clothes are back in here, it gets even darker. So let's go ahead and get the shop lights on and start prepping. All right, Hacksters, we now have the power turned off, but we need to double check that. That's where our line tester is going to be coming into place. So we're going to remove the old light fixture, and then we're going to check the lines to make sure there is no power going to it. All right. right, Hacksters, welcome back. So now we're going to start figuring out our placement for each of these lights. I'm going to do one off to this side, another one here, and then a third one back in this dark corner back here. So what we want to do is put our painter's tape up roughly where we want them, and then we'll start measuring them out and getting perfect placement for them. So right now we're just kind of eyeballing roughly where we think we're going to want them at. Put a couple rows up there. That way you can mark freely and not worry about leaving pencil marks or pen marks, whatever you're using as your measure, as your marking tool. All right, so as you can see, we have a nice section of tape in place. What we're going to do now is get up there, measure things out, make sure we are centered into the room the way we want it, and figure out our total length for everything. So first, we want to get our total width so we can figure out our center point. We are at 62 inches, so our center point is going to be 31. If we come over here, you see where our 31 is at. Not always the easiest doing this part by one with only one individual. All right, we are 31 there. Now we're going to double check to make sure we're not going to be hitting any studs right in that location. So we know if we need to move one direction or the other. All right, so now over on this side, I said I want to put one back here in this corner where it's always dark, and then we're going to put another one out here centered just like the first. So let's start on this side. Again, we're just rough estimating. All right, double check, because not all houses are built square. So double check your measurements, make sure we are in the right place. Yep, we're still at 62, so we're going right back to 31. All right. We got our marking now for our second one. Now for our last one. It's gonna be a little bit harder for y'all to see this one. That's because it's getting a little tight back here, so I won't have a whole lot of room to get back behind it, but we will do our best. And now in this case, we want it to both be centered this way, going back and forth, as well as centered this direction so that we have it dead center back here. Again, we're just kind of eyeballing things to start with. roughly where we think the center lines are going to be marking up. So let's get our measurements. We are now 35 across and 44 deep. So we want to go across 17 and a half and 22 from the back wall, and that'll give us our center point. Let's start this direction. So 22 puts us right here. You want to make that one a fairly long line, and then you're going to go get your 17 and a half. That puts us right here. You see, even with the long line, we barely caught it. So now we got our 3 marks up. We're gonna double check these 2 that we just put up, make sure that we're not hitting any of the joists when we're trying to screw up, so that there's actually room for the light fixture. See, in this case, that is telling us we've got one here. It's a little off to the side, which should give us more than enough room still to get our light up there. Now we'll check this one. All right, guys, so we are getting ready to drill our holes. It's going to be a little noisy, so I am going to go ahead and put you guys, mute the sound, and give you guys some nice relaxing music. Hacksters, we have got our holes drilled, and now it's time to start running our wire. That's where our wire fish is going to come in. So we have a hole on either side of this box. We need to run a wire over to here to this one, then one to that one, and then we will tie from that one into our third light. Let's start on this side and work our way over to that hole. So we are now all the way through. What you got to do then is you're going to take the end of your wire and tape it off to the end of the fish. nice and tight. And then you just pull it back through. And there we go. Just connect it from the line there. Snip off enough that we're going to be able to work with easily. And now we're just going to do this 2 more times, and then we'll start hooking up those lights. All right, Hacksters, we got all of our wire now ran and in place. It's time to start getting ready to hook everything up. So I'm going to go over again how I am currently doing it. Said there are different types of these connectors. Come a little bit closer. As you can see, I popped out one of the holes. They pop out really easy. It really, all you have to do is just barely push on them and they're going to push out. To get them in, you're going to go on, work one side down, then work the other side down. And that's it. It's in there. It's not going to go anywhere. You're going to loosen these up, these 2 screws here, so that you can feed your line in. And then once it's in, you're going to clamp it down so that wire can never get pulled back out. On our center one here, I'll show you, we did 1 on each side so that when it's going in, I'm not fighting trying to get 2 wires into the one hole. I can feed from each side for the line coming from here and then the line going to the 3rd one. All right, so let's get set up and start getting this wire ready to get these guys in. All right, Hacksters, so now that we're up here on top, we need to open this wire up so we can get everything connected together. So that's where you're going to use your utility knife. You don't have to slice hard. It opens up nice and simple. Peel it back, cut the excess off. You got some paper wrap around your ground. Go ahead and remove it and cut it off as well. All right. Now we need just a small end on either of these, on the black and on the white. So take your clips. You can also use a wire stripper. I just tend to find these a whole lot faster and a whole lot cleaner. That's all we need, is just that little bit of end off of it. All right, so they provide you with these nice little clips, and all you're going to have to do is push it down and in, and it's locked into place. Same thing on the ground. Just get it fed in, locks up and in. You're going to do, and we're going to feed that in. So you're not fighting the light. They actually are a simple screw apart, and you can set the light to the side. So then we're only working with the actual electrical box. So let's go ahead and feed our connectors in. Honestly, should have left those connectors off before putting the wire in. Just in a hurry to show you how those go on. Just makes it a little bit harder to get everything in, but it all goes in fine still. but I would definitely recommend putting the connectors on after the fact. All right, we'll get all these fed in. You want to get it all the way in to the point where you have unexposed wire, and then you're going to tighten this all down and lock that into place. All right, so now we just connect the corresponding wires up. I said you got your black, you're gonna match it to your black, up and in, white, matching it to your white, up and in, and then your ground, matching to your ground. And it's just gonna go up and in and locks into place. We then push this all down inside the box. Close your box back up. Make sure you've got plenty of slack. Go ahead and get your light, hook it back on. Now you've got different settings here for the type of light you want. So you can go from 2700 Kelvin to 5000. I personally like going up to the 5000. I like more of that daylight look, but that's going to be completely up to you, how you want to do it, what you are happy with, and the type of lighting you like. And it's simple. You just feed the box up. Then there are two clips. You just lift those up. Let's go ahead and get that tape off before we do that. So you got the two clips, just lift those up, get them started in, and then just push up, and it locks into place. And you got your first one installed. I'm going to do that 2 more times, plus we're going to connect up the original wiring back to it here in the middle. I'll show you how we're going to do that, and then I'll get the other two connected off camera. And then, all right guys, so we're here at our original light fixture mounting place. We got our line coming from the one that we already installed, and then the line going to the next one down. So just like we did on the other one, we're going to expose some of that wiring from underneath. Go ahead and get that paper wrapping around the ground off as well. Pull that up, cut off your excess. Do the same on our other one. Up. Cut off that excess. All right, then just like the other time, we got to expose some wire. But this time we're going to expose a little bit more because we're going into wire nuts. So just like before, we're going to be matching up colored wire to color wire. So your whites are going to go to your whites, blacks to your blacks, and your ground to your exposed coppers. So that is your ground. So we want to take our two whites, kind of start to twist them together, bring in the line from above, and then take your pliers, grab all of it, and give it a nice, good locking twist into each other. And once you got that locked in and twisted all tight together, you're going to take your wire nut, slide it back on, screw it down nice and tight. And we can do the same thing with our hot black. Get those two together, start your twist, bring your hot in from the top, grab your pliers, put them all together, and start twisting it and getting them all locked into each other. You want to make sure you get those twisted in really nice and tight, so you're never worrying about those coming apart up here in the box. Again, just bring that wire nut back on, tighten it up, and then last, our ground. Same thing, you're going to start that twist, bring your established ground down to it, and get your twist started. And like before, we grab our pliers and twist everything into each other. Put that on. And then we feed everything back up into this box so that it's ready to have that face cover put on. All right, guys, I'll be back with you in a second. I'm gonna get these other two lights hooked up just like we did on the first one, and then we'll start looking at that grand reveal on it. All right, Hacksters, we got all these lights hooked up. It's time to see what it looks like, see what the difference is. Way brighter all around. I'm gonna bring you in, let you see our dark corner, see that we've got great lighting everywhere now. You can see the lights are nice and flush. Now we're going to show you that secondary feature on these. Flip them off, count to 2, flip them back on, and you get mood lighting. Now, of course, in here, it's not as drastic as, say, somewhere like your bathroom when you're trying to set things up. So I'm going to show you how to set up a simple but very, very dramatic way to get these lights to really incorporate into your relaxation time. All right, Hacksters, to do this nice and simple way to really make these lights a dramatic effect in your house, what you're going to want to do is open up your smart home device. In my case, that's Alexa. You're going to go to, if you're using Alexa, you're going to go over to routines, your routines, and then you're going to go to what I have labeled as bath time. So you're going to set it up like this. Anytime you say the wake word and bath time, want master bathroom to turn on, wait 5 seconds, turn off, turn the bathroom fan on at the same time, and then to time it just right to get you that 2 seconds, I found that just having Alexa say enjoy before turning the light back on will then get you set up You can then have it set up to play your favorite music of that type. So let's go ahead and show you how this all works. All right, Hacksters, forgive me whatever comes up playing, but we had to set it to open source music, and obviously don't want to get a strike for having something out there that I'm not supposed to have on the channel. So here we go. Alexa, bath time.
Enjoy.
All right, Hacksters, that's it for this one. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to get yourself some of these lights, check out the affiliate link in the description. Looking forward to seeing you next time.